Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an absolute classic when it comes to apocalyptic astrophysics, the day the sun disappeared. We're going to break down exactly what the data tells us would happen to our cozy little planet if our star just vanished. We'll be doing a total summary of the sudden loss of Earth's gravity, throwing together a bit of a survival guide, and looking at our frozen future. Let's get right into it.
The universe is 13.8 billion years old, vast, ancient, and mostly invisible. And somewhere out there are answers to questions that keep scientists awake at night. Welcome to our channel, where we explore the darkest corners of the cosmos, the mysteries, the threats, the unknown. This is space like you've never seen it before.
Seriously, what would happen if the sun suddenly just blinked out of existence? Like, picture waking up, expecting a totally normal, bright morning. You go to open the window for some sunlight, and nothing. The sun just packed up and went on a permanent vacation. You'd probably freak out, maybe grab a sweater, because it's going to get chilly fast, but the reality of those very first few moments, it might actually surprise you. Okay, let's dive into this. 8. That's the magic number here. 8 minutes. If the sun literally vanished right this exact second, we wouldn't even know. Absolutely nothing would change for exactly 8 minutes, and that's simply because of the speed of light. It takes about 8 minutes for light to travel the 93 million miles from the sun to Earth. So we'd all just be going about our day, drinking our coffee, totally oblivious to the fact that our star is already gone. But right after that 8-minute grace period, boom, absolute darkness. I mean, the very first thing everyone on Earth would notice is someone literally turning off the lights in the sky. And it's not just the sun either. You might be thinking, hey, at least we'll have the moon, right? Actually, scratch that. The moon doesn't make its own light, it just reflects the sun's. So the moon goes dark too. The only natural light left would be the faint, faint glimmer of distant stars. Now, the dark is definitely creepy, but our biggest, most immediate problem comes down to Earth's gravity, or rather, the lack of it. It all ties back to Einstein's theory of relativity. Basically, this principle tells us that gravity travels at the exact same speed as light. So, why does that matter for us? Well, it means the literal second the sky goes dark, the sun's gravitational hold on Earth, the thing keeping us in a nice, safe orbit, vanishes at the exact same time. Our cosmic leash is just cut. And without that massive anchor, Earth doesn't just sit there in space. No, it would instantly fly off into the void in a perfectly straight line at 18 miles per second. 18 miles. Every single second. Just try to wrap your head around that. Our whole world just instantly becomes a rogue planet careening through the solar system like a giant bowling ball. And flying blindly at those speeds, yeah, that introduces some major hazards. The Earth is totally off the rails at this point. We run a super high risk of slamming into other planets or just getting totally blindsided by an asteroid. Or if we're talking absolute worst case scenario here, our wandering planet could eventually cross paths with a black hole and just get swallowed whole. The solar system basically becomes a gigantic cosmic minefield. Now, what's really interesting about this is, let's say we get incredibly lucky, we somehow dodge the planets, the asteroids, the black holes, the whole shebang. Earth would just keep traveling through this dark, endless void for an estimated 43,000 years before we'd finally stumble upon another star to orbit. 43,000 years. That is a mind-numbingly long time for a planet to just drift aimlessly in the dark. So what's happening back down on the surface while we take this joyride through space? Let's flip open the ultimate survival guide. Step 1. Without sunlight, photosynthesis stops dead in its tracks. The entire engine of plant life just shuts down. Smaller plants, they die off incredibly fast. But here's a wild little fact. Some of the massive, larger trees actually have enough internal reserves to survive for decades without sunlight, which is crazy. But yeah, eventually they'd bite the dust too. And as the plant life collapses, the temperatures absolutely plummet, kicking off what we can call the big freeze. Within just 1 week, global temperatures would drop below zero, pushing humans and pretty much most living organisms right to the edge of extinction. Fast forward a few months, the entire surface of the ocean freezes over into a solid sheet of ice. But surprisingly, it would take another 1,000 years of drifting before those oceans froze completely solid all the way to the bottom. To put that into perspective, the surface of the ocean becomes an icy, unlivable crust in basically no time at all. But the deep ocean interior, That's a totally different story. It stays liquid for a full millennium. How on earth does that work without the sun? Well, it's all thanks to geothermal heat radiating from the Earth's core. Our planet's own internal furnace acts like a temporary hidden lifeline miles beneath the ice. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly who the ultimate survivors of this whole frozen future scenario would actually be. Since that deep water stays liquid, the organisms down there, the ones that never even cared about sunlight in the first place, they just keep on keeping on. They feed off the chemical and thermal energy from the Earth's core, so scientists figure these deep sea ecosystems could just thrive for billions of years, totally oblivious to the absolute frozen wasteland up on the surface. So that leaves us with the permanent state of our world in this thought experiment. A once beautiful, lush green planet completely reduced to a barren, frozen wasteland, just floating aimlessly. Think about it. All of human history, everything we've ever done, locked inside a silent ice cube drifting through the cosmic void. It's kind of haunting, right? It really just hits home how incredibly fragile our ecosystem is and how literally everything holds together simply because of the sun. All right, let's pull ourselves out of the hypotheticals for a second and look at reality. What is the real solar countdown? When will the sun actually die? 5 billion. 5 billion years, that is. That's the actual real-world deadline we're working with. Astronomers have calculated that in about 5 billion years, our sun is just going to run out of its hydrogen supply. Hydrogen is basically the fuel keeping the sun burning so bright and stable for us. And once the tank is empty, well, that marks the beginning of the end for our little solar system. So today, right now, everything is in perfect order. We're good. But fast forward 5 billion years, when that hydrogen runs dry, the sun is going to enter a really volatile phase. From there, astronomers estimate it'll take about 7 to 8 billion years from today before the sun finally sputters out and dies for good. When you contrast those massive billions of years timelines with our fragile day-to-day lives, it really puts the sheer scale of the universe into perspective, doesn't it? So, knowing how completely and utterly we depend on our local star, for gravity, for warmth, for the literal foundation of our food chain, are we taking the simple warmth of sunlight for granted? I know I probably do. The next time you open your blinds and feel those warm rays on your face, I really hope you remember just how miraculous that light actually is. It is quite literally the only thing keeping our planet from becoming a rogue frozen wasteland. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll see you in the next explainer.
The universe doesn't care about us. It never did. But we care about it. And that is what makes us extraordinary. If this video made you think, hit like, share it, and subscribe to this channel. Because the next mystery is even deeper. Until then, stay curious and keep looking up.